So the thing I'm going to show you today is an example of how you could solve the assignment you will get on Monday. Well, actually, you will get it today, but you can start on it Monday, right? The assignment will be that you all have to do a small animation, logo animation, whatever you would like to do, that represents you, like a small animation business card or a small logo animation, something like that. So I'll make something simple. There is depending on which version of Maya you have installed, there's different things you can do. So if I go to the Create menu, in my case I have these two buttons called Type and SVG. If you have a different version installed, you will have something called Create Text. Actually I'm not sure if I can show that. Can I do that? Maybe I can, maybe I can't. See, but to get the same version I got, you can install the version that is on the folder. Let's just go and do this. So just 2 seconds. There, and then I will make this write protected. Yes. Okay. So in this folder called software, there is a folder called ext1sp1 or sp3, and if you install these two, you will have your version of Maya updated to the extension 1 release, and that is the one that has this new type tool. It will probably be a good idea to do that, but I'll help you do it. There is in this version there's 2 things you can do. You can use the type tool. You can use the SVG loader that enables you to load files from Illustrator. There's also the old version where you can load files from Illustrator, and then for some reason they haven't kept the old create text thing, but never mind. I'll click type, and what it'll do is it'll load up all of the typefaces, and it creates a default logo. So let's just go there, and I can then choose a typeface. Let's maybe this one. See, some of them will not work, and then you get a lot of red areas. The reason for that is that some typefaces has bad lines that will blow up in your face. So don't use those. But it'll tell you if they're bad. Let's see if we can find something funny. Maybe that one, or that one, or let's see, this one is nice. We'll take that one. Okay. And in this tool you have the option to change different things. You can change the font size, you can change the tracking, you can change the kerning scale, leading, which doesn't make a lot right now because I only have one word, space with scale. In the geometry section, and this is where it gets a little more interesting, we can do beveling. So I'll just put my mouse here, and then I choose this one. Hopefully it should work. Let's see. Should work. Oh, bevels are down here. There we go. Outer bevel. And the outer bevel should be maybe this and this. It's not, or maybe it's because no. See? There we go. Finally. See, this looks very good. I have an infinite thingy going through. And that is caused by some issues with the typeface and my bevel. So I can play around with the bevel to try and fix that. This happens with some typefaces. Where did it go? There. So for instance, I can change the bevel amount. So you can see the reason for this funkiness is this mess going on here. Let's just go to wireframe on. There you go. So you can see that it has to do with the way the typeface was built, that this will make something crazy. But the rest of it looks fairly nice, except for these areas here that also has like crazy stuff. But that's quite common that this sort of thing happens. There is the option of in mesh here and try and filter out stuff, but sometimes it makes as many problems as it solves. So it's kind of interesting. So let's just go back to there, and to the bevel, and change this to maybe this thing here. Make the there, and say okay. I'm wondering why it's not, well, anyway. What I wanted to do is to create a text object, and I've done that. And you could do the same thing if you're using the older version with the create text tool. I just don't have it. So when we're done here, we have one object, this type object. But I'd like to be able to animate each letter separately. So what I need to do is to go to my mesh and do a separate. What that will do is it'll find each piece of geometry and make it into a separate object. So there. So you can see now I have this. So, and obviously if you had like an eye, you would have the dot separate from the stem and things like that. If I look at the channel box here, you can see that I have a lot of history elements going on over here that can be used to change settings. So for instance, I can go in and change the tracking right now, or I can change the curve resolution, maybe change that to 7. So you can see that gave me a problem again. Maybe 6. 6 is good. We'll go with 6. So that basically just adds extra lines in here. So maybe 5. 5. Yeah, we'll go with 5. Then there's the extrude that does the bevel. Let's see that. So we have a nice little object here. So when I'm done with all this, I will choose the whole thing, and then I'll go to Edit, Delete by Type, History. So what this will do is, if you look at this, it will remove the whole building instruction. Like so. So when I click any object, it will just be that shape. There's no way to go back and change the typeface or other things like that. But that's fine. I don't need to. Then I will apply some type of material, and I'll just use standard Maya here. So I'll just go and grab all of these and put on a blend. Let's see, maybe make that blue. Blue one, yeah, good. And then I want all of the center pieces here to be a different color. So if I go to right view, and then I choose the whole thing, and then if I right click and go face, I will only get that for one object. So I won't do that. I will choose all of them, and then I'll go up here and click the select by component type, and faces are turned on here. If they're not, I'll turn them on, and then I can just make a selection like this. You can see that I'm selecting through the 4 segments in the middle, so that will it'll choose just those, not the front sides. And then I'll click another blend, and this one I'll make into an orange color, something like that. That looks sort of interesting. Okay, I could also select these edges here and make something different with that. I could do that if I just grab all of these and go to component, then click that, shift that, shift that, shift that, shift that, shift that. So if you have a really long name, that will be a little tedious, but if I then hold shift and press the larger than, smaller than button, I will grow my selection, like so. So now I have everything selected, and then I can just shift click these in here again. Yeah. So now I only have this outline thing selected, and I'll just add another one here and maybe make that just black. Something like that. So now I have what I want. I'll turn off the wires here. Yeah. That was sort of what I wanted. And if I just do a test render, oh, it's rendering with RenderMan because I loaded the plugin before. Okay, I will just need to stop that in a second. See, because that doesn't work. Oh, it does work, but with the standard material. Go away, go in here, set this to my software. Or maybe, yeah, just do it like that. Render. So you can see I get this. And that was sort of what I wanted. Then for the animation bit, and this is where it gets funny. So I'll just want to make this enter the screen in an interesting way. Often when I have to do an animation like this, I work backwards. So this is sort of the end result I want. So I go to my end frame, so this should fly in maybe on 3 seconds. And 3 seconds would be 75 frames. So I go to 75. I choose all of my objects in here and press S to add a keyframe. Then I go back to maybe 25, and then I move everything out of the way. Take my move tool and move it out here, and I press S again. So the result is I have an animation where this just slides in. So then I'll just go to this frame again, frame 25, and then I'll go to my rotate tool, and I might do something like this. Okay. And then you can see the animation will be something like this. A little more interesting. But I have one issue, and that is that every single letter here has the same reference point. I don't want that. So I'll go to the final position, choose all of them, and go to Modify Center Pivot. So now they will have a center point in here. And you can see now the result is slightly different. now they will be rotating around their own center. That is more what I want. So something like that. That's good. But right now they all enter the screen at the same time, so I will try to change that. And there is a couple of different tools that I can use to manipulate animation. In the Windows Animation Editors section, there is a couple of different tools. The two tools that are the most useful ones for what we're doing is the Graph Editor and the Dope Sheet. If I start out with opening the Graph Editor and choose one object, you can see this. This will show us the animation curves for the selected objects. So in this case, I just chose the first bar here in the logo. And what it has an animation on the Translate X. That's this thing here. So it just starts out smoothly and moves in. So when this is flat, nothing is happening. The steeper it is, the faster things are moving. Because this is the value and this is the time. So if this is not changing value over time, nothing will happen. If it's very steep, there will be a lot of change in value over time, and things will move or spin or whatever very quickly. I'm not going to change that at the moment, but you can see that I have animation on the Translate X and the Rotate Y. And it looks sort of the same. So this is what's called an ease out, ease in curve. It will start slowly, accelerate, and then decelerate towards the end. The other tool, and the one that I'll be using for this, is called the Dope Sheet. The Dope Sheet is a tool that can be used to move keyframes around, but you're not seeing the curves, you're only seeing the keyframes for the object. So if I choose all of these objects, there, you can see I get all of these lines. And what I can do is I can offset these. So I'll just grab this one, and then with my Move tool selected, I will middle mouse button drag. So you can see this piece here will, actually I want that one first. This one will move in before the other ones. Let's see, how far should it go? Should maybe move to, that should start at 0. And then this one should start just slightly later. And this one should start slightly later. Yeah. I'm just using the middle mouse button to drag these, and when I select the object, it'll select all of the keyframes for that object. Something like this. So the result, if this worked out correctly, will be that these sort of like come in a stacked layer. That's a little more interesting. Okay. The next thing I'll do is I will look at the Graph Editor. So just go to Animation Editor, Graph Editor, and you can see the result is this. All of the curves are more or less the same, or actually they are the same, and then they are offset a little bit. So what I would like to do is to just give it a little bit of punch. So I'll take each of these curves, Translate X, and just grab that. So see, I select the keyframe by making a selection around it, and then I make a selection box through one of the arms here. I can also click, but I have to be really accurate to do that. So it's always easier to just do the selection box. And then I'll middle mouse button drag that up a little bit, and middle mouse button drag that down a little bit. So this will create an overshoot for the first object. So what you should see is that this piece here will sort of like go too far, and then pop back into position. Maybe it's too much, but you get the idea. And I'll do the same thing for its rotation. just there, and at the other end, like so. So you can see that now it will rotate a little too far. Maybe I should make the rotation more prominent here at the end. So let's see. Oops, that's not that one. So this one. Just make it slightly more aggressive, like so. So you can see now it will come in, rotate too far, and then rotate back. And that I can then do that for all of the objects. So just go to the next one here. Grab that, a little up, a little down. There. The next one. This is actually when they are animating at Pixar, it's very much curves all the time, because that's where you can fine-tune animation quickly. There, so only 3 to go. And it doesn't matter that they're not exactly the same. That just makes it hopefully a little more interesting to look at. There. And then there's one left. And that one. And this one. Okay, so close that, and then let's see what the result is. Just go back and press play. That was a little more interesting. So it's definitely not perfect, but it's okay. One thing, some of you might have your timeline just racing by. So if you right click on the timeline and go to the playback speed, there's a few options. If you have this play every frame free, it will just race through the timeline, and you don't want that. Then you have the option of setting it to real time, so it will use the normal speed. But if you have something like effects in your scene, like particles or other things, then you really need it to update every frame. So that's why I almost always use the play every frame max real time. So that means it will update every frame, but it will not play it back faster than real time. There we go. So that was the logo bit. Maybe I want like a block to come in at the end, so I'll create a cube. Just make that, like, make this, let's see, make it a little bit bigger, and move it up a little bit, there, and maybe give this a red color. Good. Oh, red color, there. So it should be there now. So press S here, and then I go back a few frames. Then I move it out of the way. So I get this. Good. And then maybe to make it even more interesting, maybe some moving planes in the background. So just make a plane. Move it up a little bit, rotate this, hold the J key to snap rotate. Yeah, I think that should be 90 degrees, yes. And then scale this up a little bit. Oop. It should be plus 90 there. And then maybe give this there's a little bit of a purple color. There. And let's see, we'll move that back a little bit and make a couple of copies of this. Just move it around a little bit. Just to create some different layers of this. There we go. And then I can just do a little bit of animation of these. Just choose all of them, put a key on here at the end, then I'll just move this around a little bit. Put a key on each of these. I'm pressing S to set key. So now it'll just be moving around. And maybe have this go down there. Have this go out here. One go out there. And one over there. And have this there. There. Let's see. Maybe this will be way too much, but let's see. And then maybe have two of these have a different, oh, this one could be like a slightly different color, maybe green, just to make this total mess. And this one could be a little bit of cyan. Oop. And that one could be my purple girl. And this one could be yellow, maybe. There we go. So we have this. So we are ready for daytime TV. And the final thing, make a small camera movement. Just select the camera here. Do it by selecting this button here. Put a keyframe on the camera. Go to the other end. Then have this over here. Put another key. And then go oh, it's beautiful. But way too much movement on these. So this is a good place to go into the graph editor and then just frame everything up. And then you can start just making this less movement. So some of these are moving a lot. Just move this so it's only a little bit. There. This one has a lot of movement. And what's that? This one there. Undo. See, translate Y. Then that up a little bit, and then the final one is this one. Yep. And this one. Good. So now it should only be a little bit of movement. Oh, this one really goes nuts. So this is a simple way to do a small animation. Of course, you could make a lot of interesting things. Create a model of a spaceship flying through the scene, or I don't know, a character walking by, or whatever you feel you can do. Just go for it. And of course, then you can render it out after you're done, just like we looked at yesterday. So go in here, set up the frame range. In this case, it will be 120. Set up your resolution. I'll just leave that. and then go to your rendering menu set, and then go batch render. And then it'll come out as a bunch of frames, and you can put it together in After Effects. So for now, I think you should try and make some text. Maybe if you don't have the extension 1 release, you can install that from the server if you like. I'll help you with it. So that was